Good morning, y'all. Just letting the people come in here. We've got a busy room this morning. Happy to see you. I will
Hello.
turn on my camera in just one second. How are we doing?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. I had a crazy evening last night. I found out that I have a whole ass family that I didn't know about. A long lost sibling of mine, half sibling of mine. Um, Reached out to me on Facebook, and apparently I have a whole family that's been looking for me for years and years and years, and I had no idea. So, kind of exciting stuff, and also scary and all the feels all at the same time. So,
Yeah, I understand that.
yeah, kind of
Yeah.
crazy actually.
Yeah. I
Yes.
have I have I have an interesting story, but I'm not gonna tell you now.
That's okay. Well, I'll get it from you soon, I promise. All right, let me throw this so I can get the link for it for y'all.
Hi Kim.
Hey Donna, how are you?
I'm good. It's nice to see your face.
Nice to see yours.
Y'all just talk amongst yourselves. It's all good.
Oh yeah, she looks beautiful by the way. You look
I know,
beautiful
like
for
she
her.
looks like she's at a resort. I'm like,
I
where are you?
know.
It's my
Yeah,
backyard.
I'm gonna be visiting your backyard. You live like what, 5-10 minutes away from me?
Yeah, come on
You're
down.
right. I'm gonna be like, hey Kim.
It's amazing what one fern will do.
One fern, that's right.
Nice.
One fern. All right, y'all. Hang on. I'm letting a few people in here and then I'm coming right there. All right. So while you guys are waiting on me real quick, let me ask a question and you guys can answer in the chat or you can unmute yourself, whatever you'd like to do while I'm getting situated here. How many of you feel like we're in a down market, like that the market is down? Like put in the chat or let's talk about it for a second while you're waiting on me. Are we in a down market at all?
I feel like it's a stutter.
It's a what?
Stutter.
Okay. What does
You
that
know,
mean?
like
Tell me more.
it's like that. It's like something that is just honing in on the right, getting in front of the right people. But I think that um I feel like I don't know, maybe I'm wrong with my perspective, but I feel like there's I think on both sides it's limited. Buyers are limited and housing options are limited unless it's a builder.
Sure.
I could be wrong.
No, I got you. Like that's
So
why I said
Michelle, when
let's
is she coming back?
that's why I said let's
I
talk.
don't know exactly when yet, but probably September.
Sorry about that. I had to mute somebody so that we can. All right. Holly said, I feel like we're in the beginning stages of price corrections in certain areas. So I definitely agree with Holly in that respect in certain price ranges. So I can only talk about my own experience. I know we have people joining from all over in all different states. So that's why I was like, let me ask the question before I start talking. Let me ask the question about what you guys feel. What are you seeing? Um, are you feeling like the market is correcting where you are? Do you feel like it's a down market? I scared somebody with that yesterday when I was inviting them to this talk because they said, "Oh my God, I feel like we should have waited to buy our house." And the reality is that there is no perfect time to buy a house. There's a better time. But there's no perfect time to buy a house. And what we need to understand is that we have a responsibility to the public to like let them know what's happening in the marketplace. Like, um, is now a good time or not? And for some people in certain situations, it might not be the right time. But for others, it's just as good a time as any. And so what I'm seeing is I am seeing in certain price ranges, I'm seeing where we're getting some concessions from the seller. The prices are coming down a little bit. In some places, we're seeing longer days on the market. There is a link to the handout that we're going to use today in the chat that I finally got there for you. Thanks for being patient with me, and I think I got everybody in the room, so we're ready to go. All right. I'm seeing like some price reductions. I'm seeing some closing costs paid for by the seller. You know, we're seeing a lot more negotiations than we saw in previous years. And so I would just say, like, you know, in some regards, that is a market correction. It is a down market compared to what some people have been used to. I would say that there's probably also some people on this call that have been maybe just got in the business within the last, you know, 3 to 5 years, right? And so what you might not understand is that the market that you know of in the last 3 to 5 years is actually kind of an abnormal market. We're not used to people throwing stupid money at houses and being willing to pay, you know, over and above list price, foregoing inspections, foregoing appraisals. That's not a normal market, right? Like it's a great market. A lot of us made a lot of money because of how easy the buyers came to us, the low interest rates. A lot of us made a lot of money during the last 5, 7 years, but that's not normal. That's not a common market. That's not what those of us that have been in the business since dinosaurs roamed the earth. That's not normal, right? And so first things first, I want to tell you just a little bit, like for some of you, most of you know me on here, but there's a couple people that I don't know. Welcome. I'm super grateful that you're here. We do this every Thursday at this time, although we're probably going to be moving this day of the time that we do this because it conflicts with another epic event as well. But it is open to people from all brokerages, wherever. I'm Laura Dahl. I've been in real estate 25 years. I've sold in 4 states. I've owned 2 brokerages. And now I am operating out of both Tennessee and North Carolina. And I have a team in both states. Some of you are on one of those teams. And I do a lot of coaching for agents all over the country. And so what I specialize in is really helping agents grow their business, you know, trying to help agents understand that we are not used car salespeople. I try to help elevate the level of service that we provide to our clients. I push agents to be better agents, to do things a better way with a higher level of sophistication and professionalism so that we can break the stigma of the used car salespeople or that we're not needed. That's the whole purpose of it. And so today I want to talk a little bit about, because I've gotten a lot of calls and a lot of the clients that I'm coaching have been in the business in less than, I would say less than 7 or 8 years. And they're finding that this market is hard. They're finding that they have less sales than they've ever had before. They're having more deals fall apart. If they're used to every time they write a contract, it goes under contract and it closes, and now all of a sudden a buyer is terminating for no good reason. They just changed their mind. Or things are falling out of contract for financing, or you know, sellers are not actually getting the memo that the market is changing, and they're not willing to negotiate the way that the buyers thought they were. Or buyers are coming in with really unrealistic demands because they're pissed off that they're having to pay 8% interest, right? Or 7.5%, or whatever the rate is. They want some kind of concession to offset that because the payment is so expensive. They're pickier, right? They're wanting that HGTV. They want you to bend over backwards. They don't want to give up all their rights as a buyer. And so we're seeing a lot of squeezing, as I call it, squeezing on the market. And in some price ranges, at least in Middle Tennessee and in North Carolina, where I am, I will tell you that in some price ranges, you're not seeing that at all. You're not seeing a cooling, right? Kim and I had some negotiations with a client last night where, you know, of the last 5 sales in this one particular neighborhood, 4 of which I think went under contract in less than 7 or 8 days, like in single digit days, right? Versus I have 2 listings in Mount Juliet right now that are 28, 60, 80 days on the market. And we're still talking 25 miles apart, right? 30 miles apart, whatever it is. It's still a matter of similar price ranges, but the house isn't moving, right? And so why is it that one neighborhood is flying off the market and another neighborhood is still sitting, right? And so I get a lot of questions from agents that are like, okay, I'm being told from my broker, I'm being told by, whatever I'm reading, that the market's only going to get worse, and I'm already struggling now, right? We're dealing with inflation, high interest rates. Buyers have more and more debt than they've probably ever had since 2006. And I think Erin's on this call. I can't see everybody, but I think Erin is. I'm sure she's seeing a lot of more debt when she's pulling people's credit. John too. That buyers are carrying a lot more debts. They have higher debt to income ratios. They're already strapped as it is. And so everything is squeezing and feeling tighter. And that means that we don't have as many buyers entering the market. So are people still buying in your market right now? I don't see any heads moving. Are there show me your heads moving. Yeah. Are there people still buying in your market? Yes.
They're trying to.
Right? They are buying. So if they're buying, they should be buying from you, right? So first and foremost, if there's a buyer out there, they should be buying from you. But my point is like, I want you to remember, yes, we're feeling the squeeze. We're feeling the crunch. Things are harder than they've been in the last 3 to 5 years. But I've seen way worse than this. Remember, I've been doing this since Moby Dick was a minnow. I got to come up with some new phrases because my Moby Dick was a minnow and dinosaurs roam the earth is getting old. But I've been doing it a long time. And my point is, I've seen every kind of market. I've seen this same market probably 7 or 8 times, 9, 10 times in my career. What some of you newer guys are experiencing in the last 3 to 5 years, that is a first for some people, right? And so you guys don't know any other market, but I will tell you, I've sold houses with 15 and 16% interest rates, and people were still buying houses then, right? Are there as many buyers? No. Do you have to work harder? Yes. But people are still buying and selling houses. So I want you, number one, we're going to start with your mindset, right? That's the first thing we have to talk about is surviving in any market. I titled this Surviving in a Down Market. I want you to understand what I'm going to talk about today is actually surviving in any market. Okay. Let me go to share my screen so that y'all don't have to look at my face the whole time. Not that you mind, but I do. All right. So what I want you to understand is what we're going to talk about today applies to any market. These are skills and these are, advice and tips and strategies that I want to give to you that are going to apply no matter what is happening. I don't care what the interest rates are. I don't care how many buyers there are. I don't care if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. What I want you to understand is that, these things are going to apply no matter what the market is. So number one, the mindset. I need you to understand that people are still buying and selling houses. You need to believe, number one, that you are not a salesperson. You need to believe that you are in the service industry. You need to believe that your clients are better off with your help than they are without it. What things could go wrong if they don't hire an agent? And what kinds of things do you bring to the table that help people avoid those pitfalls, mistakes, litigation, disasters, right? I know that my clients are better off with me than they are without me. I know that for a fact, right? So if I approach my day every single day that I have something valuable to bring to this process that they need, I feel less like a icky used salesperson, right? I feel less like I'm bothering people when I understand that I'm bringing something they need and it's something that they want and would help them. I feel like I'm helping people, right? I have lots of stories in my career where I did help people. I helped people accomplish their goals so that they could ... I told a story earlier this week. We visited a manufactured home site. And I don't know how many of you guys have visited one in the last like 10 or 15 years, but mobile homes and manufactured homes have come a long way in design and upgrades. And, they have full complete packages for under $200,000 in Western North Carolina that has granite countertops, drywall, walls, trim, crown molding, a walk-in closet that's as big as my bedroom for under $200,000. And you just cannot, it's very difficult to build that today. And it's very difficult for people to find affordable solutions. My point is, I told a story that early in my career, I sold the most expensive mobile home in Beaufort County, South Carolina. And at the time it was like $280,000. And this couple had paid less than 80 for it when they bought it. And because of that sale, they were able to take their special needs kid and move to Columbia, South Carolina, and put him in a school with resources that could help him. And it changed their lives forever. And to this day, 20 some years later, this woman is still my biggest fan. She comments on every listing I post. She tells everybody about me because I was able to change their life. Not all of our stories are that amazing, right? Not all of our stories are that great, but you've got to find the blessings in what you're doing. You've got to find where you are helping people and recognize that you're not in this business to sell houses. The houses will sell themselves, right? How many people, how many buyers say, well, my realtor didn't even help me find the house. I found it on my own. Well, that's because they have access to all the data, right? We're not the gatekeepers of the data. When I first got started, I had a book that was printed once a week that I carried around that had the inventory of what was for sale in it. You had to come to me to find out what was for sale, and I was the gatekeeper of that information. But they're not anymore. The buyers can find the house on their own. That's not our value. Our value is way beyond just finding the house. Our value is in helping them navigate the process, educating them on what to look for, helping them avoid pitfalls, litigation, lawsuits, all kinds of things like that. So number one, it starts with your mindset. I need you to have an abundance mindset in the fact that you are aware that people are out there buying and selling. And if they are, they might as well be buying and selling from me. There's plenty of business out there for everyone. Okay. Everybody with me with that? Everybody on board? We are not used car salespeople. We provide a very valuable service that people need and want, and they're willing to pay for it. Okay. We'll get into that in a minute. Number two, prospecting never, ever ends. This is the issue that most agents, I don't care what market we're in, buyer's market, seller's market, declining, accelerating, whatever it is, you must prospect like your family depends on it, because they do, right? You are responsible for feeding your family. You're responsible for building your business. You're responsible for making a profit. Most of you treat this like a job. This is not a job. You own a business. You own a real estate business. And that business, to have a successful business, should be turning a profit, right? In order to make a profit, you have to make sales. And your sales must exceed your expenses. How many of you this year are upside down? You have more expenses than you have income, right? Yeah. That's a problem for a lot of us. We're going to talk about that in a second too. But in order to have a successful, do you have a successful business? If you're to ask yourself that right now, the answer is no, because you're upside down. You're in the red, right? What cures the red? More sales. What cures most of our problems? More sales. Right? I could interview each one of you individually and ask you what else is going on in your life, what's happening with you, what's going on. And I guarantee you money is the number one thing that's going to come up on almost everybody's situation. There's never enough of it, right? I don't care how much you make, whether it's 500 or 200 or 20, it's never enough. The only way you overcome that is constantly looking for new business. You must understand that your responsibility as a realtor is not just opening doors. It is finding opportunities for people to help. Remember, everyone you meet is not a buyer or a seller. Some of those people are referral partners. Some of those people are connectors. Who do you know and who do you need to know that will make your prospecting life easier? The other thing I want to say about prospecting before I get on a soapbox, and this is the thing, y'all, I get real passionate about trying to help people, and I go down a tangent, and I have ADD too, so there's that. But what I need you to understand is that you have a responsibility every single day to meet new people, to find new business, to find new sources of opportunities Not everybody you meet is going to buy a house from you. But some of you are spending a lot of time chasing internet strangers, right? If you've done any coaching with me at all, you know an internet stranger is 8 times harder to convert than someone you know. 8 times. We're already working harder. Why do you want to work 8 times harder than you already have to? I'm screaming at you now, and I don't mean to. I'm sorry. I love you all. But what I want you to understand is that, you know, oh, Erin chimed in. I'm so sorry. She said, yes, when pulling credit, we are seeing more consumer debt than ever before. Yeah. And that's putting a lot of the pinch on you. It's making your job harder as a lender. When your DTI is so high, you can't really help them so much, and they don't have the money to pay off some of the debt. It becomes much more complicated to get people approved and harder to find a house for them. But I won't yell at you anymore. I promise. I'm trying to hit home for you that your job as an agent is not just to let people in houses. Your job is to continually and constantly look for more people to help, right? If you own a typical business, and I say typical, I love to use the analogy of a shoe store, but that's also getting old for me. So what other kind of business could we own? Let's say we owned a cupcake shop, because people like cupcakes, right? Obviously, you have a target base of who your target customer is and who buys your cupcakes. You're going to market your business to people who like cupcakes, and you're going to make your cupcakes something that people want and need and are willing to give their hard-earned money in exchange for your cupcake. Your real estate business is the exact same. You're going to have a target client that is for you, that meets your personality, that likes your rough around the edges, or your meek way, or your bold and strong way, or your analytical side, or your educational side. Whatever you bring to the table, whatever the special sauce that is you, people are going to like that about you, because those are the people for you, your target client who likes your cupcake. Okay. And then you're going to market and promote yourself so that they know that that cupcake is for them. And you're going to bring them in, and then you're going to wow them with incredible service. And that cupcake is going to be such an amazing cupcake that they're going to continue to use you. Your real estate business is the exact same. But what happens in the real estate industry is people will open up a cupcake shop. They put the for sale sign out, right? They create the Facebook business page and start promoting themselves. And then they wait for the people to come in and buy the cupcakes. And by month 6, your cupcakes are stale and old and in the trash, and you don't know what else to do. Am I going too far with the cupcake analogy here? Right? My point is that I'm just making sure y'all are still awake with me. That's all. My point is that y'all are not treating it like a business. You're treating it like a hobby. You're treating it like somebody needs to walk in my door tomorrow and buy a cupcake. Well, I can't wait for someone to come in and buy my cupcake. I've got to cut my cupcake into 28 samples and go out in the street and find some people. I got to market my cupcake. I got to let people know why my cupcake is so amazing, why it's different than every other cupcake. Y'all are cracking up at me. I know, but am I making sense? Right? Do you understand? This is a business. You've got to treat it like a business. And if you did own a cupcake shop, if everybody went on a diet, you would go out of business, right? You got to pivot. You have to shift with the market. You have to go find new customers constantly, because you can't eat a cupcake every day or you'll have to be rolled down the hill, right? And you don't have enough money to buy 50 houses. Are you following me? Okay. Y'all are cracking up and I love it. I'm so glad. John is snort laughing. Yes. All right. I've done my job for today. Prospecting never ends. Stop treating it like a hobby. Stop treating it like a job. Start treating it like a career, and start treating it like a business that you actually have an investment in. And it is crucial that you turn your business into the black, or you won't be in business. You can't keep paying rent on your cupcake shop if you don't have any income coming in. You can't keep paying dues. You can't keep paying all the expenses that it costs to operate this business if you don't have any money coming in. It puts a strain on your relationships, puts a strain on your wallet. It has a strain on your quality of life. Stop treating it like it's a hobby. And if you understand the mindset of this is my responsibility to operate my business like a business, and I need to make sure that I'm doing the things that make a business successful. Most of us don't have entrepreneurial skills. We don't know the first thing about running a business. You've got to start treating it like a business. And number two means you've got to constantly be looking for new customers to buy your cupcakes every day. Okay. Number three, systems and processes. If you do something more than once, you should have a system set up to make sure that you don't have to duplicate the thing all over. I don't have to write it all over again, right? So for example, if I'm following up with a lead, if I'm following up, I'm sending an email to a client about where they are in the process. If I am doing my contract to close and getting all my information over to the other side, I do not want to retype all of these emails and text messages every time I'm in this situation. I want you to think about the number of clients I have served over 25 years. If I had to type out the same lead follow-up text message or the same email over and over and over again, how many hundreds of thousands of times would I have had to type that up, right? Even if you have 25 deals in a year, having systems and processes will make your business run much more smoothly and efficiently. If you're not sure which systems and processes you need, I have a whole class on it in my YouTube channel. You can go find it. Everything I'm talking about today, there's tons of more information. You can dig deeper if you want to. You have a responsibility as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, to take responsibility for your business. If you don't know something, where can you go to find it? Google that shit. GTS. Everything you want to know is available on the internet, right? GTS. Everything. So my point is like, you can't just say, well, no one taught me. No one trained me. You're right. Most of us had to learn on the job training. We had to teach ourselves, but you also have the ability to go gather the information that makes you more competent, makes you more confident, and will help you be a better agent. Okay. Promotion, buyer or seller confidence. So regardless of what kind of business you run, what kind of business you're in, you must tell people about it. Donna says you ask your broker. Your broker will fire you if you don't. If you ask your broker every time you didn't know something, your broker will say, you're too much for me. Get out of here. I mean, they're managing 4,000 people, right? Or 400 people or 150 people. I like where your head's at, Donna. Yes, you can ask for help. You always have a mentor in me. You always have a coach in me. You always have people that you should be able to go to. But my point is, too many people rely on a mentor to do the work for them. You need to be self-sufficient. You need to be reliant, and you need to go gather some of the information yourself. It's your responsibility. You decided to open a cupcake shop. If you open a cupcake shop, unless you open a franchise, where are you getting the training from? Right? I'm going to hit this cupcake shop until you're over it. You're sick of it, right? But you're going to get it because I'm going to make sure you understand this is a business, right? All right. If I own a business, I have to tell people about what I do. They're not just going to mysteriously fall out of the sky, right? In the last 3 years, buyers in Middle Tennessee just fell out of the sky like manna from heaven, right? We had no idea, like we didn't even know that they were going to come that heavy, that it was going to rain down on us in buyers. How fortunate we are. But all of a sudden the rain stopped, right? And so many people have just decided, well, I'll make a couple posts on Facebook and that's how I promote my business. And that's it. Well, no wonder you're starving. No wonder you're in the red, right? Not enough people know about what you do. Not enough people know how you do it. Not enough people know what makes you special. Not enough people know why they need you. That's your responsibility. You must have at least some type of marketing budget. If you own a cupcake shop, again, you can't get free advertising for your cupcake shop. You got to find people. You got to market your shop. Your business is the same. How are you marketing and promoting your business and your services? All right, whoever's got noise in the background, mute yourself for me. The other part is that we have a very, that would be Bryce. We also, it is our responsibility as agents, when buyers and sellers are confident about what's happening in the market, they're not as afraid to enter the market. If all you're doing is talking about raising interest rates and the recession and how houses are staying on the market longer, does that make anyone feel like it's a good idea to go buy or sell a house? No. But if you tell positive stories about the market, hey, I met Jane and Bob last week at an open house or last month. They told me that they were, they wanted to buy a new construction home. I was able to come in and help and negotiate and got some incentives paid on their behalf, and now they're in their brand new home. Then when you tell stories like that, it becomes relatable to people. And people think, well, that could happen for me too, right? When you tell stories that people can see themselves in, they feel more confident about what's happening. Are you the doom and gloom agent, or are you the agent that is telling people it's a great time to get into the market? Right? Which one are you? You have to instill confidence in your clients and into the public as in general that if you're a renter, now is a great time to get in the market. You're paying 100% interest anyway, right? If you're a seller, are houses still selling? Yes. Are they taking a little bit longer to sell? Yes. But you still have tons of equity in your house, likely. It's not a horrible time to sell your house. It's just different than what you've experienced in the last 3 to 5 years. Different does not necessarily mean worse. It does not necessarily mean bad. We still have tons of success stories of people that cashed in on 150, 200, 250 plus $1,000 of equity from selling their house. That is life-changing money for people in an asset that appreciated, right? You've got to understand people. When people ask me what I do for a living, my answer is never, ever, ever that I'm a realtor. Because when you tell people you're a realtor, they scatter like cockroaches, right? It's like, oh God, I don't want to talk to you. I know 50 of you, right? Or they feel like we don't bring any value. So why would I want to talk to you? Or they want to ask us about the market and waste my time. And ask me 50,000 questions, but they are going to buy a house from 5 other people. So my point is like, are we instilling confidence in the people to let them know that now is a great time to buy it? When people ask me what I do, I say I help people achieve long-term wealth through the purchase and sale of real estate. What do you do for a living? I help people achieve long-term wealth through the purchase and sale of real estate. That is very different than I'm a realtor, very different than a real estate agent, right? They heard long-term wealth. I help people achieve long-term wealth. I have changed people's lives, and I have many, many, many stories where I can show that someone bought a house and sold a house, and the money that they took from the sale of that house was life-changing for them. I'm very proud of that. We got to tell more stories like that. We have to tell more stories that make people feel like, you know what? No, the money's not free anymore, practically free, right? It used to be practically free. It's not free anymore, but it's still not 18%, right? And there are things you can do to buy down the rate. You can negotiate things to buy down the rate, to make the payment more affordable. There's lots of ways to skin a cat, but we've got to tell more stories that it is possible to become a homeowner. It is possible to gain long-term wealth through the purchase of real estate. We have to show them that. So I don't care what the market is like. If it's a down market, if it's an up market, you must promote yourself, you must promote your business, and you must instill confidence in both buyers and sellers to let them know that now is a good time. Everybody with me there? All right. Next, trim your expenses. Cut the fat. Right? I want you to go through all of your expenses monthly that you're paying to operate this business. Some of you have bought all kinds of tools, all kinds of systems, because somebody called you because everybody's trying to sell us something 58 times a day, right? 90% of our phone calls are not actually client calls. They're people trying to sell us crap, right? And we are not trying to buy it because we don't have enough money to buy it, right? Because we haven't sold anything. We're in the red, some of us, right? So trim your expenses. I want you to go through, stop buying things you think are going to make you more money. You know what makes you more money? Effort. You know how much effort costs? Nothing. Okay? Stop buying things that you think are the quick fix, the lottery ticket to success. Stop buying systems, classes that you never log into. I bought the $27 course for this. I've never even opened it. I probably have $5,000 worth of that garbage in my email somewhere, right? We all do. Trim your expenses down to lean, right? What do you need to operate your business? You need a cell phone, you need a computer, and you got to pay your dues. You got to pay your association fees, your monthly fees, and whatever else it costs you to operate your business, right? I'm not telling you not to spend any money. Remember, everything you spend on your business is tax deductible in some way, right? They're business expenses. You might need those. But stop paying for things that you're not using, right? Some of you have all these subscriptions to things and you don't think it's much, but it's $15 here, $20 here, $25 there. You know, do you need it? Are you using it? Did it help you make any money? If it didn't, cut it out, okay? Treat your business like a business. Are you even looking at a profit and loss statement every month? Some of you, I know you aren't because you haven't made any money. So if you looked at it, you would have a heart attack, right? You would be like, oh my God, it's almost like the gym membership for me, right? If I added up what I spent on a gym membership versus how many times I actually went, I donated thousands and thousands of dollars to a gym for years. That's what y'all are doing. You're donating money to the industry. Thank you, right? I want you to actually rip the Band-Aid off, like Kim says, right? Rip the Band-Aid off. I want you to go through and look at your expenses. I want you to trim the fat. And I want you to look every month. I want you to hold yourself accountable. Did I make any money this month? Did I make a profit in my business? Or am I still operating in the red? Some of you are operating in the red because you're new, right? You're going to operate in the red a little bit. And then that first sale sometimes is going to get you in the black. But what happens is you get this big fat paycheck and you haven't had one in 6 months, right? And all of a sudden you got to pay all your debt and all your money's gone. Or you get a big fat paycheck, 18 grand, something like that. And all of a sudden you go shopping, right? You go buy a Mercedes, you go, you know, you got to go get that new handbag. You go out and buy a new outfit. You go on a vacation. You spend your money however you want to, right? But unless you have a really full pipeline where you know where that next deal is coming from, you're spending all your money, your operating expenses, and then you're broke again the next month. And that's why most agents struggle with consistency, is because we're also very poor with managing our money, right? You got to get better about making sure that you're planning for the future. If I don't have a deal next month, do I get to eat? Do I have enough money to pay my bills? So you've got to treat it like a business where you know your finances, you're reviewing your profit and loss statement, you know whether or not you're spending more money than you're making, you know how much more money you're spending than you're making because you've reviewed it and you've cut out the fat, right? John said, Daddy need a new pair of kicks. That's right. Daddy do need a new pair of kicks. So there's lots of things I need, right? I need a new computer. I've needed one for 5 years, right? But every time I get a commission check, there's always something else I got to do with it, right? I want you just to make sure that you're not spending money unnecessarily. One of the beautiful things about the company that I work at is I was able to trim $1,800 a month off of my expenses just with some of the benefits that I got, right? I want you to go back and look at your expenses and see, can I trim the fat anywhere? The next is you should have some daily non-negotiables or some type of routine. If you owned a cupcake shop, you would come in, you would open the door. The first job is to make the cupcakes, right? You got to turn on the lights, count the cash drawer, you know, get ready for business, right? You're ready to operate. Your real estate business is the same way. You're going to get up in the morning, you're going to get yourself ready, you're going to turn on the lights. What do you do to get yourself ready? Before you can sell a cupcake, you got to make the cupcakes, right? So that means I got to promote myself. I've got to market myself. You should have a list of things every day that you are doing that is part of your routine. The thing that gets a lot of people hung up in this business, regardless of what type of market it is there is no routine in their business at all. There's no structure. You have to build structure where there is none. And that means you get to choose for yourself, because it's your cupcake shop. How do I operate my business? So for me, I have 5 non-negotiables every single day that I do, right? Without question, when my head hits the pillow, I check myself. Did I do my 5 non-negotiables that day? And that means it doesn't matter if I had 8 back-to-back client calls, or I had to show clients houses, or I had 4 listing appointments, or I had to deal with my kid, or whatever the thing is. I have 5 things every day that I do. Those 5 things, do y'all want to know what they are? I'm just curious. Yeah.
Yes.
So, those 5 things every single day. I write 5 handwritten notes. Okay. Every single day. So those are, I love, those are, I see you, I'm thinking about you. Congratulations on your job promotion. I'm so sorry to hear about your dog. I saw your son got accepted to MIT. You have so much to be proud of. They are just, I see you notes. They are not business related. I don't stick my business card in them. They are just heartfelt, from the heart, who I am. I want to acknowledge you and I'm thinking of you. And people love, we are so bombarded with phones and emails and text messages and Facebook. That's not where I want it. I want a real relationship with people. And so handwritten notes, 5 handwritten notes a day. Okay, number 1. Number 2, I check the MLS every single day, right? I'm reviewing the hot sheet for what's new on the market, what went under contract, and what closed. I'm looking specifically at a very particular area in my market that I want to be the expert in. But I'm also using that information to prospect for new business. Every time a new listing comes in an area that I'm farming, I am letting people in the neighborhood know about the new listing. Every time something goes under contract, I'm letting them know. Every time something sells, I'm sending letters around that house, whether I was involved in that transaction or not. You don't have to be involved in any of these sales to prospect for new business using that data and that information. But every single day I'm checking the MLS and I'm looking for an opportunity every single day. Is there an opportunity for me to promote myself with the activity that's happening around me, even if I'm not responsible for the activity? You guys understand, I don't have to be the listing agent. I don't have to be the buyer's agent. I am an agent in this market who is gathering the data about what's happening around me. I'm using that data to either promote that activity or promote myself. Everybody follow that? Okay. Number 3, I make a certain number of outbound phone calls for my database every single day. The number for me is low because I'm on the phone a lot, right? I'm on code. Any of you know that try to catch me, you know, I'm on a call. I'll call you back, but I'm off and I'm get tired of talking, right? And so I do have a certain number. I'm going to get to you in just a second, Donna. I have, your hand is raised. I'm not sure if you have a question or if you're just saying, yes, tell me your 5 things. I'll come back to you in just a second. I'm just, you know, for me, I'm going to make those 5 outbound calls or 10 or however many the number is. But again, it is me making outward phone calls looking for opportunities. Some of those calls are just check-ins. How are you? Do you need a referral for something? I see you're doing some renovations. Do you need a recommendation for anything? You know, hey, I want to let you know about an event I'm having. Hey, I want to let you know about a new listing that just came on. Or, hey, my lender has this great program that I think might be a good fit for you. Or one of my investors, you know, again, we visited that, you know, manufactured home dealership. I immediately called 5 investors that have been looking for properties for about 2 or 3 years. And I pitched them the idea of, have you thought about buying a modular home? They have all-in packages on lots. You can get out all in for under $250,000. Where can any of your investors buy anything for $250,000? On my markets, right? But I can do that in Western North Carolina using this mobile home as a product, right? Yeah, Carlos, I'll tell you about it later, but yeah, it was really good.
Thank you.
It was a good opportunity. All right, Donna, tell me what you got. I'll get back to the other 3 in just a minute.
Okay, so I forgot how to put my hand down, but anyway, so you're talking about, you know, marketing other houses that you don't necessarily are the listing agent.
Right.
So I was a part of a team that they were doing that. They were doing exactly what you said, and they were getting phone calls from the listing agent saying, you're marketing my listing. That's
Yeah.
not your listing.
Well, they
Like,
skipped.
that's insane.
Well, they skipped a step. So first of all, before I promote anybody else's listing, I'm always going to check with the listing agent and see if it's okay that I share that information. It's also going to depend on how I share the information, right? So if I just say, hey, a new listing came up in Forest Crossing yesterday, let me know if you want more information about it. I don't need anybody's permission for that, right?
Okay.
But if I say, hey, Jane Smith has 123 Main Street listed, over in Forest Crossing is listed by Keller Williams, I also don't need her permission for that. But if I just post the picture 123 Main Street and I make it look like it's my listing, now you violated some ethics situation, right? So in doubt, always ask the listing agent, right? Because you do need, I did see the comments on a listing, actually the one that Kim and I have under contract. The listing agent actually put in the comments that you must obtain the seller's permission to market this listing because so many people are marketing other people's listing. And at the end of the day, even though we're asking the listing agent, the seller is the one that should be giving permission for other people to market it, right? Because they hired Keller Williams to market it or whatever, right? So I didn't say that, but I'm glad you asked it. That's number one, is that you should be getting permission. And it also depends on how you're marketing the listing. If you go with the first approach, like I said, there's a new listing in Forest Crossing that just came on the market today. Let me know if you want more information about it. Now I hold the key to it. I don't need anybody's permission, right? I also didn't give you all the detail about it. So now you want to reach out to me to find out more information. That's sales 101. All right. All right, cool. All right. The other things I do. So what did I do? I think I gave you 3. The fourth one is I have a certain number of appointments a day. So I make 2 appointments a day. Now these are outside of my coaching calls. These are outside of my team calls. These are they could be a short FaceTime call that's 5 minutes. It might be on Zoom. It might be a face-to-face belly thing, but I have 2 appointments a day, non-negotiable. So some of those appointments are going to be with a buyer. Some are going to be with the seller. Some are going to be with a vendor partner. Some are going to be with a connector. But did I actually meet with anybody a day? If I were to survey 150 of you and ask you how many appointments did you have this week? Today's Thursday. So we're 4 days into the week. If I were to ask you how many appointments you had this week, some of you are going to say 0. Right? Because you're not talking to enough people. You're not setting appointments with people to actually talk about your business. You're not promoting your business. You're just doing behind the scenes administrative work, running your business, but your business is running you and you're in the red. You need to be making appointments with people. Hey, I want to have lunch with you. I want to have coffee with you. I want to see how you're doing. This is a relationship business, period. So I have 2 appointments a day. And then the last thing that I do is promotion. So did I promote my business? I do 2 social media posts a day. In some way or shape or form, am I promoting my business? So when I put my head on the pillow, every day I want you to think about, out of those 5 things that I do, I get to say, I promoted my business. I had 2 appointments that day. I reached out to 5 people through handwritten notes. I made some outbound calls to promote myself and to check in with people and catch up with people. And I studied my market. If you did those 5 things alone, you'd be doing better than what you're doing right now. Right? And I'm not saying some of you are not doing well. I'm just saying that would at least establish some routine that every day you can put your head on the pillow saying, I actually operated my business in a way that moves the needle. Everybody with me there? Tatiana asked, what are examples of social posts? So some of my posts are going to be storytelling, right? I met Jim and Bob at an event. They mentioned that they wanted to get started investing. I connected them with my lender, who put them in a program that saved them $17,000 on their down payment for their first investment property. Are you looking to be an investor too? Right? It might be storytelling of behind the scenes. What did I do today to prep for a listing? It might be me showing that I'm looking at the MLS and showing stats or anything behind the curtain, like letting people see what I do, right? It might be me pitching a program that might be for doctors or nurses, a loan program. It might be have you thought about? It might be did you know? It might be there's tons of ways, but again, do people know what makes you unique? Do people know what you do? Do people understand what makes you, why they need you, right? And do they even see you as a realtor? So this is the other part. Thanks, Mark, so much. He said, Kelly and I developed this property. Happy to help. Here to help anyone interested. He gave you a link for a mobile home that's now. It is actually an affordable. The other thing too is you got to change the stigma about mobile homes and manufactured homes, right? People think when I say manufactured home, they think trailer, right? But have you seen the inside of some manufactured and modular homes recently? They've
They
got
got
full
fancy.
homes with basements, porches. Like, I'm telling you, you need to go visit them, you need to see them, and you need to help educate people that this is an affordable way to actually live in today's society in a lot of places. But you got to change the stigma because it's not a trailer. Some of these modular and manufactured homes are actually better built than stick built homes. There's all types of financing available. Actually, both Aaron and John that are on this call, both are lenders and both actually lend on mobile homes and manufactured and modular homes. There's certain criteria for trailers for actual mobile homes that they have to meet. But for manufactured and modular homes, there's also all-in financing where they buy the lot separately and then they just go to the dealership and buy the home. You still get paid on that if you connect them. There's all-in where the dealership actually owns some land and they sell an all-in package where they put the product on the land for them. And that is also 100% financeable as well as a package deal. There's again 6 ways to skin the cat, lots of ways. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole on modulars because that's a whole other class. But my point is that we have to change the stigma so that people understand that this isn't a trailer. It's actually a well-built, streamlined, very energy efficient. So anyway, do some research on that. But those are some examples of some of the social media posts that I do. Any questions about the non-negotiables or the routine? Because I got a couple more and then I want to let you go. No? Okay. Next up, more conversations, more contacts, more relationships. Most people, when I sit down and do goal setting with most agents, I ask them, how many people a day do you need to meet to make your money that you want to make? And they look at me like, I have no idea. I don't know how many people I need to meet. Well, I actually have a contact calculator that I'm happy to share with you guys. You guys all can text me or send me an email or find me on Facebook and send me a message. It's Laura Dahl. But a contact calculator basically tells you, based on the fact that I want to make $200,000 a year, how many people do I need to meet? And there's a conversion ratio that we apply to that. But at the end of the day, I will tell you, most agents that I coach are just simply not meeting enough people. You cannot sit behind a keyboard all day. You cannot work a full-time job and then sell real estate on the side and think that you're going to make $200,000 by sitting behind a computer without ever getting out and meeting people. There are some people that dial for dollars that are very good at converting internet leads. Most people that I know suck at it. They're not good at it, right? Plus, who wants to be sold to? If I'm on the internet at 3 o'clock in the morning and I am clicking around on things, like, I don't want you calling me. I'm just clicking around on things. But when you meet somebody and you talk about real estate and they're interested in you, that is a much easier person to convert to a client. When you're at an open house and you build rapport and trust and you are establishing a relationship, you're getting to know each other, that is a whole lot easier to convert that person than a stranger that was filled out a form at 3 in the morning and now they've moved on to 30,000 other things, right? So I want you to work on more conversations, more active conversations where you're not afraid to tell people that you help them build wealth through buying or selling real estate, right? People must see you as a realtor. Thanks, Mark, for being here. Your value proposition is next. Do you know what you bring to the table? Why should I hire you? If someone were to ask you first thing out of their mouth, I know 20 realtors, what makes you different than the other 19? Do you know how to answer that question? You need to. You need to work on your value proposition. What is it that you bring to the table? What makes you unique? Why would I hire you over somebody else? Right? What is it about you that makes me want to work with you? Right? You've got to know what you're good at, what your skill set is. You've got to know what you bring that those people need. You've got to understand what it is that makes you different than everybody else that they know and why someone needs to hire you. And can you answer that in a couple of sentences? If somebody were to ask you, why should I hire you? Do you know how to answer that? right? You need to get good at that. And if this is the part you're really struggling with, I want you to understand that when you are confident in who you are and you're confident to what skills you bring to the table, that will resonate with people and people will read that. When you show up and people go, what makes you different than the 5 others that I know? And you say, well, I'm not really sure. I just know I'm pretty good at this. That's not enough. You've got to be confident in what makes you unique. You've got to sell. The first sale you make every day is to who?
Yourself.
Yourself. Yes, John Nash Vegas. Thank you. The first sale you make every day is to yourself. If you cannot look in the mirror and look at your own face and say, I have everything that I need to be successful in this business and I can do this. If you can't look at yourself in the mirror and say that, go back to bed. Because the world is going to chew you up and spit you out, right? And you know that. But if I go through this world with the courage of a 4-year-old in Superman underwear with a cape, right? I know I can take on anything. And you've got to have the same confidence. You've got to come into this market saying, I know what I'm doing, but that's on you to know what you're doing. You have to be competent. I know what I'm doing. I know what I do helps people, and people need what I have. People need the knowledge that I have. People need the experience that I have. What happens if they don't?
Laura,
Really, yes, sir.
what do you bring to the table? Why should I let you sell my house?
Well, for me, it's easy. I have 25 years of experience. I specialize in representing sellers, right? I know what it takes to market your home and get it sold in this market. I have a marketing plan that is unique to your particular home. I also work with so many buyers that I know what buyers want and what they're looking for. I know how to properly get your home ready for the market, how to make sure that it is the most attractive, that we make the best first impression. I also have a very specific plan of how I market listings. John is literally writing. He is writing so fast. There's steam coming off that pen. I love it. Thank you for taking notes. I have a very specific plan of how to get your house sold. I don't just put a sign in the yard and a lockbox on the door and pray and wait for somebody else to sell it. I have an action plan that I follow, a system that I follow that has proven to work and be successful over 25 years in 4 different states. Now, for somebody that has less experience, what do you say? I'm very analytical. I'm data driven. I'm accessible. I'm available. I answer my phone. Those are minimal things, but guess what? You know how many realtors don't do any of that? Right? So many. It's not hard to stand out because actually we're competing with some really crap sometimes, right? And so many of us really get down about our industry and about our job because we're watching these Yahoo clowns cash checks for $20,000 and $50,000 and they don't even know how to make a turkey sandwich, right? Stop comparing yourself to those people. That's their race. You run your race, right? You find your people. Don't worry about those Yahoos and those clowns. Okay? But if you have less experience and you don't have experience to lean in, then you lean in on your skill set. What do you bring to the table that's different? What other industry did you work in before? What other experience do you have that applies to real estate? What is a seller looking for from you? They want to know that you're going to communicate with them. They want to know that you have a plan. They want to know that you have the knowledge of what it takes to get their house sold. They want to know that you're actually responsible, right? You actually do what you say you're going to do. This is not complicated. A lot of you overcomplicate this. What makes me unique is I'm me. I'm the baddest motherfucker around, right? If you don't have that kind of confidence, you got to go find it, y'all. I'll give you some of mine if you want it. But you got to have that kind of confidence that says, I can do this and I will. But if you're waiting around for it to happen to you, y'all just give up your license right now. Stop spending money. Give me all your money because you're just spending it on nothing anyway. I'll take it. But you can do this. There are people that want to buy houses from you. There are people that need you to help them, but you can't wait for them to fall in your lap. Y'all, them cupcakes are going to have cobwebs on them if you're just waiting. You got to get that cupcake in people's hands. You got to let them taste it. You got to let them see it. You got to convince them why they need it. You got to let them know it's okay to eat a cupcake every now and then. Nothing bad's going to happen. You're going to enjoy it. Okay? Referrals, top 25 business to business referrals. There are plenty of agents that have been doing this as long as I have that will tell you, oh, I operate on 100% referral. And that's okay as long as you continue to mine and continue to add people to draw referrals from, right? That's the only way you continue to operate off of a referral business. The other thing about referrals, the only way you earn referrals is giving people service that is undeniably better than any service they've ever had, right? My pleasure. You have systems in place that make things happen automatically. People are not waiting for you for things. When you tell them you're going to send them something, you freaking do it. When you tell someone you're going to call them, you do it, right? You go over and above to make sure that the experience is good. You plan ahead. You're prepared. You're knowledgeable so that they have a great experience. You are also full service. You don't do the bare minimum that is your job. You go above and beyond to make sure that this is the greatest experience that they've ever had. You go above and beyond to think of all the things that they might need, and you proactively have those things in place. You might roll out the red carpet for people, which means you give incredible gifts. It might mean that you hire a driver when you're going to show properties so that you can focus and talk to them. I'm not saying you need to spend that kind of money, but I'm giving you examples of rolling out the red carpet. What can you do that sets your service apart? I want you to think about an experience that you've had where you spent money on something. And I want you to think about two experiences. One where they wowed you. This is incredible. I will come back here. I will spend my money on this again. And then I want you to think of the alternative, the Yelp review. This is horrible. I'll never come back. I'm going to also tell everyone I know about how bad it was. Where does your service fall on that scale? Most of you are in the middle. It's kind of blah. It's not exciting and it's not horrible. But that's not referral worthy, right? Referral worthy means I blew your socks off. I became part of your family. I anticipated your needs and I inserted myself in them. I made you need me. I made you be grateful that you had me, right? I helped you sidestep some stuff to help keep you out of trouble. But it's got to be really wow worthy in order for you to earn referrals. I'm not going to refer everyone I know to you if I didn't have a stellar experience. I'm also not going to refer people to you if I don't think you're the best at what you do. Do you guys know a referral? Yeah, I know a guy, but he's not that great. I mean, he's okay. No, that's not who you're referring. You're referring, Donna helped me buy my house. She was there for everything we needed. She answered all my calls. She gave us the best gift. And you know what else she did? She arranged for a housekeeper the day before we moved in. The house was sparkling clean. Like, that's above and beyond, right? Most of y'all won't even pick up a broom to sweep off the leaves off of your front porch for the open house you're at. Is it wow-worthy service? Or are you just, they're okay, right? The way that you survive any market is filling your pipeline full of people. And the way you fill your pipeline are all the things I talked about, plus making sure that you have a list of top 25 referral partners that are constantly helping seek opportunities for you. These are the people that are not just saying, if you've talked to me for any amount of time, you've heard me say this 5 times probably, and some of you are sick of hearing it, but yet you don't have it and you're not doing it. I like to repeat myself a lot because maybe by the 10th time I say it to you, you'll actually do it, right? I love you all. Do you have a list of top 25 referral partners that are out there in the world as your little army of people that are looking for opportunities for you? They're not just handing out your card. They're saying, Cindy helped me buy a house and let me tell you all about her. This is what our experience was like. This is how she is. She is on top of everything. Nothing ever slipped through the crack. She kept me, in communication the entire time. Like, this is what you want, are armies that are out there, not just tagging you, because a tag gets lost among 400 different people. They are actually saying things about you in your service. They're actually looking for people because you've sat and spent time with them and said, this is what makes me unique. This is my target client. This is who I like to help. And here's how I help people. You've educated them. They now know. And now you have a little army of people that are out there looking for opportunities to help you build your business, right? The same thing with business to business referrals. You should have a list also. It could be 25, it could be 50, it could be however many you want. But you should have a list of other businesses that you support, that you love on, that you spend time building and supporting and giving resources to, that are in turn going to turn around and give you business. We are the community connectors. We're the mayors. We know everyone, right? We know if you need something, ask a realtor. They've got it in their database. I promise you. Do you need a fence? Do you need a painter? Do you need a veterinarian? Do you need a pediatrician? Do you need whatever? I probably know it, right? I've got it. Are you that person for your community? Do people know that you have a list of everybody, of everything you could possibly need? I want to be the white pages for you. I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and a pipe burst and you need an emergency plumber. Call me. I'll tell you who to call. And my people know that. They know that I'm the person who knows everybody. You want to be needed. You need to be needed. In order to have a place in their lives, they need you. Okay? So I want you to spend some time working on your business to business referrals. Who can you love on? For example, I might have a business owner that I sit down with in one of my appointments and I say, what's your biggest struggle right now? They might tell me, hey, we're really struggling with turnover. We can't find any good help. I might know people looking for a job. I might be able to help them find better employees. I might be able to connect them with a career coach that can help them retain people. I might have somebody that can help them with marketing. I might have somebody that can help them with whatever the hell they need. I'm going to find it. Okay? Whatever they need help with, I'm going to find it. I'm going to be the resource for whatever their struggle is. And I'm going to pour into them. I'm going to send business to them. I'm going to refer people to them. And then guess what? I'm going to sit down and ask that person, can you refer just one person to me in the next 12 months? Is that something you can commit to? If I ask 25 people that and they all sent me one deal, that's 25 deals. If half of them did, that's 12. Right? But y'all are chasing strangers because that's easier and less vulnerable. You don't have to worry about rejection, right? Because you get rejected all day long. Nobody answers you. You're just wasting your time. Work on people that you know. Work on people in your community. Be the town mayor. Everybody with me there? I am on a soapbox today. All right. Skills, skills, and more skills. Are you competent? Do you know what the damn contract says? Can you summarize it? Do you even know how to fill it out? Do you know how many days are pre-written in the contract that a buyer needs to know? Do you know what the ramifications are if a seller decides not to sell? Like, do you know what the contract says? What happens if people fight over the earnest money? John knows now. He knows now, right? But that's the skill. That's my point, is that do you have the skill set that you need to interview with people? For people to hire you and feel confident that you know what you're doing. You need to sharpen your skill set. You need to make sure that you are competent. Do you know basic statistics about your marketplace? What's the average days on the market in your city? Do you know what the average sales price is? How many months inventory do you have? Do you know what the list price to sales price ratio is? Do you know on average how much the amount of seller concessions that sellers gave in that zip code in the last 3 months? All of these are factors that I need to know so that I can properly advise my clients how to write offers, how to counter offers, and what kind of offer as a seller they should be expecting. Where do I find that information? Nobody knows. I just pull it out of my ass every day. No, I pull it out of the MLS every single day. Remember, I'm studying the MLS every day, right? The MLS tells me the list price to sales price ratio. It tells me what a seller paid in concessions. It tells me what the days on the market is. It tells me what the average sales price is. It's all in the MLS right there for you to pull, right? But do you know that data? Have you even looked it up? If you were interviewing for a listing, John has a big listing appointment coming up on Monday. If his seller asked him, what's the list price sales price ratio in this neighborhood? What's the average days on the market here in this zip code? If they were to ask him on average as a seller, what should we be expecting in terms of concessions paid on behalf of a buyer? Can you answer those questions? So this is what I'm saying is, are you prepared to even do your job? Most of you are out here hunting for clients like you haven't eaten in 6 months. But when you get the client, are you prepared to serve them in the way that they deserve? That they're willing to pay 3% for? I'm just giving a random number, 12%, 16%, 19%, whatever they're paying, right? Does your service warrant that money? If you don't have the skill set to properly serve them, then the answer is no. And I'm not going to hire you. Why would I hire you when I can hire somebody else who does know all that information, right? You have a responsibility to learn how to make the cupcake if that's what you're selling. Here we go again, right? Damn cupcakes. All right, skills, and more skills. Make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you sharpen your skill. Make sure you are learning the things that you need to know to better. If you are brand new to this business, I'm going to tell you, do you know how to explain the home buying or home selling process to a client start to finish? Can you explain to someone the steps? Work on that. Explain the steps. Break them down. Make sure that you understand who does what. What are the moving parts in a transaction? Whose responsibility is it to do what things? The whole piece as a pie, which piece is your responsibility? You're responsible for all of it, right? But various people have different roles. Do you know what each person does? And are you also holding those people accountable in the transaction? Are you taking ownership of those things? Or are you just hoping that everybody does their job the way you want them to? Because if that's your strategy, you're already in trouble. Because people don't do their job the way that you expect them to. And they're not you. They're not going to do their job the way that you do it. So take ownership of the things you can control. And that means making sure, following up, sending reminders, communicating to people. Last thing on my soapbox I'm going to say about this is stop trying to sell real estate via text message. I am spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. I deserve a phone call. I deserve a face-to-face meeting. Text is convenient. You don't buy and sell houses via text. So stop it. You don't negotiate via text. So stop it. You cannot hear my tone. You cannot hear my cadence. You cannot see my face. You don't know what I'm feeling. You don't know what I'm thinking. Pick up the damn phone or get on the computer or meet with them face to face, but stop trying to sell real estate via text. That is not a wow-worthy experience, is it? No, I better see your head shaking. No, not me. All right, the last thing I have for you is the MAC formula for success. If you guys click on it in the handout that I gave you in the chat, I'm going to repost it here just for some people who joined late, because sometimes the previous stuff doesn't show up there. I did do a whole podcast on this. You can listen to it by clicking on those links. These are things that if you did every single day, you marketed yourself, you took action generating lead for your business, you actually moved leads to clients, you generated appointments, you built relationships with people, you included some kind of structure or routine in your business every single day, and you worked on your skill set. Those 5 things alone would help you build your business. They would help you move the needle in your business. Okay. I highly encourage you to either listen to the podcast episode or see if you can find that video on my YouTube channel. If you want more information from me, obviously you can go to my website at Real Success Blueprint. You can watch my YouTube channel. There's tons of videos there. You can also listen to my podcast for anything. Have I given you enough information today to feel dangerous enough to say, I can do this, I've got this, it doesn't matter what's happening in the market, I have a plan for where my business is going to come from. I'm not going to sit by and passively wait for the business to fall out of the sky. I'm going to take action and go get it. I'm going to make sure that I'm promoting myself. I'm going to make sure that I have a routine, that I have certain things that I do every single day. And in those routine includes actually talking to humans about real estate, right? I'm not chasing strangers all day. I'm not spending money where I don't need to on things that I think are a get rich quick lottery ticket. I have a defined system of things that I do every day. I follow a recipe to make my cupcakes every day. And then I sell my cupcakes. You're going to do the same thing with your business. I have a recipe I'm going to follow every single day. I'm going to promote and market myself. I'm going to be confident in the fact that I know I'm needed and that you are better off with me than without me. And I'm going to do my job to let you know that I've got you. I'm going to hold your hand through the whole thing. I'm going to make sure that you are cared for every step of the way. I'm not going to let you make mistakes. I'm going to give you good advice because I know what I'm doing. I'm competent. I've taken the steps to make sure I know the information that you need to know to make a good decision. And you can trust spending hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars with me because I'm good at what I do. Okay? Yeah? Are we fired up? Got this? Okay, you can survive any market. It doesn't matter if it's up, down, sideways, backwards. It doesn't make any difference. The strong will survive because they're committed to their business. The ones who will survive any market are the ones that have structure and routine and build relationships. Okay? The rest of them are going to get out of this business and go get another job and quit because they don't have the grit that it takes to survive any market because they don't have a plan. You have a plan and you've got people to help you get through it. So I want you to go out and sell something. Go sell some cupcakes, my friends. Have a great day. Thanks for being here. Join me next week. Same time, same bat channel. Okay?
Thank you, Laura.
You're welcome. Have a good day, y'all.
Thank you, you
Yeah.
too.
Thank you.
Good to see you.